And then you go to flight school.
Yeah.
You do the RAG. You do all that stuff to get out to a squadron. Then the first kind of work you were doing was Southern Watch, right?
Yeah, so I get through flight school. I ended up picking F-18s. I get stationed at El Toro. So I am literally living the dream. I moved back to my hometown. I think I went to like my 10-year high school reunion. And, I had told all my buddies, what I wanted to do. I ran into some people I hadn't seen in a while. It was good. And shortly after I got there, I actually flew the last flight out of El Toro. They closed the base, and all the Marines moved down to Miramar. So the Navy, where Top Gun was filmed and all that stuff back in the day, the Navy left San Diego, moved back east, and the Marine Corps happily took over that base. And so I moved down to Miramar, ended up in an F-18 squadron, stationed out of Miramar, flying Hornets off carriers.
Straight up living the dream.
Yeah.
Your actual dream you are now living at this time.
That is exactly right. I'm living in San Diego. I was living in PB off Anacapa and stationed in Miramar flying Hornets. And the carrier that I was assigned to, my first deployment, we did Operation Southern Watch. So, I watched Desert Storm in '91 on TV. I was a freshman in college. And, we hadn't done much in the military since then, but we had flown every single day since that war ended in, I think, was it March of '91? Mm-hmm. Every single day since then, we flew patrols over Iraq to make sure that the skies were clear and we were enforcing the no-fly zone. And here it was, 10 years later, 2000, on a carrier in the Persian Gulf, flying combat operations over southern Iraq.
Did you guys ever drop any bombs there?
I did. Yeah, a few of us did. Not a ton. There wasn't a ton going on, but what we would do, these things called response options. So if the Iraqis would do something, I think in my case, they set up a surface-to-air missile south of a line that they weren't supposed to be, and we had surveillance that told us what was out there, and I launched on a mission and blew up a SAM site with something called a JDAM at the time. It was a bomb guided by GPS, which at the time was this brand new invention.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy technology. I think we were the only planes in the entire carrier that could do it because we had this thing called a GPS. Super fancy back then. But at the time, Jocko, that was combat. That was it. There was no other show in town. And so the night that I dropped a bomb on a SAM site in Iraq off a carrier and an F-18,
you could have just retired right there.
We're
and
done.
Good to go,
dude. That was it. I could have come back to that. They could have flown me off the ship, and I probably would have died a happy man at that point. I was like, that's it. I've reached critical mass. That's all I ever wanted to do. So it was, again, a lot of it was just things that worked out in my favor. But I did exactly what I wanted to do, and that event was kind of, at the time, sort of the pinnacle. That was what I thought I was going to achieve.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing in the dry years for the SEAL teams. Like, if you did some kind of mission, you were just super stoked. We were over in the Persian Gulf. Actually, same time, 99, 2000, I was there. I was in the Persian Gulf when we were doing, MEO operations, stopping smugglers coming out of Iraq. So we were taking down vessels and getting control of them. And again, at the time, super stoked. Yes, the big mission was taking down these vessels, and you thought it was pretty cool. And it was cool. It was cool. But you just didn't have anything to compare it to at all.
Yeah.